Welcome to Enough Said, episode 22, and that's a twofer for tonight for us. We just finished the recap, and now we're into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the new episode following Captain America 2 called Turn, Turn, Turn.
It was a blowout.
It was a blowout. I am relentless Rob Southgate, and with me is...
I'm going with the theme of the show, Judas Jack Wengroski.
Oh, that is fabulous, Jack.
Right off the top of my head, right?
I thought you were going with jelly-filled again. I didn't know how that was going to tie in, but...
I'm working on that. I'm going to do the Captain America workout for a while, see what happens.
See if you become less jelly-filled?
Yeah, we got to reduce some of that. If I'm going to be representing the superheroes in the Marvel Universe, I got to trim down a little.
Okay. You know what? I'm going the opposite. I am going for the Kingpin look eventually.
Well, there you go. I think I could see that as a little tie-in. I just don't think I can criticize our superheroes if I look more like a jelly donut.
Right. Plus, we know that Fitz might try to eat you because he is a foodie.
That is true.
So, Jack, we can't waste time with this banter. We got to jump into this episode. Turn, Turn, Turn was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, really kind of ran with the movie. I mean, we know that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s a mess. We know that Hydra is out in force. Basically, and they really said, it was almost unappreciated. They really had a good thing going. And, when Fury kind of found everything out, they had to kind of let the plan unfold.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I mean, this thing, this was exactly what I wanted Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be from when I first heard what it was. It was the action. It was all the intrigue. It was the mythology stuff. I mean, this was it. And we've been saying each week, it's getting better. It's getting more like what we're looking for. This episode, above all episodes, was the one where the whole time I was just like, my God, I don't want this to end. I mean, this was really it. I don't know how you felt, but this really was it for me.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tie-in. I still, I'm still getting a little, May tried to shoot Fitz yet again. So,
yeah, right.
And it's
yeah, but you know what? Really, if you had to spend time on a plane with Fitz, wouldn't you want to shoot him?
Probably, but really, he's kind of like, it's kind of like watching James Bond take a shot at Q or
right. It seems a little funky.
Right. Yeah. If Bond had tried to do that, they would execute him right there.
Right. You know what, Jack? We did not do our new thing, which is I read the synopsis from IMDb of the episode. Let's see what kind of clues we have on this one.
All right, go ahead.
Coulson and his team, let me try that again. Coulson and his team find themselves without anyone they could trust, only to discover that they were trapped with a Tweedo. They were trapped with a Tweedo in the mist. Let's say IMDb does nothing for spoilers. That is for sure. And if I read that description, I probably wouldn't have watched this. I'd go, oh, great. It's the plot from, Murder, She Wrote from 35 years ago. Yeah, I'm not really interested. That doesn't tell you anything.
Well, yeah, it doesn't tell you that really half the team you can't really trust. You don't know what the heck's going on. May endangered the whole group doing what she thought was right for Fury. However, it was her.
Well, I was right. Hey, I want to take credit right here. Did I not say I thought May was calling Fury? May was being a company man. She was telling Fury what was going on. She was monitoring Coulson.
Right, and
I said that a while ago, and she was.
She was, but it really didn't do any favors for the team. In fact,
no, it didn't. But she thought she was acting properly.
But that's the thing is, what? Now she's an ally, but she is not a friend.
True.
Coulson was really, here's the thing is May was convinced. Oh, well, she put together the team. She put together the doctors. You know what? Coulson, you're only here because, I did all the work and I made you here. I don't see how you can really lead when May is convinced that this is her bus.
Right.
I
Okay, let's get into that. So May says flat out to Coulson, I put this team together.
right. She did the picking.
When she said that, once again, I was talk about a dork. I'm sitting here on Twitter. I'm hashtagging mind blown because it was completely blown when she said that. Because I was like, wait a minute, I thought that she was doing this, but she actually assembled the team. The only person that Coulson brought in for sure was Sky.
Right, which she did not take a liking to, and here's why. Because
that's why she was iffy with Sky this whole time.
Right, but here's the thing: is Coulson is the one, that's going to be taking the team to the next level. Coulson is the one that keeps it happening, but in the background, in her mind, this is her endeavor, and I think she is going to be more of a liability sometimes. And Coulson forevermore will have kind of that eye behind his back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is going to definitely. Well, maybe he's a 084 and he'll actually grow an eye behind his back. You never know what that alien technology is going to do to him. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I think what it did is it completely changed the dynamics of this team, and we're not even to the big dynamic change, which we're going to get to soon. I do want to say one thing also before we go on, because there also is more that we've gotten right here that when we talked about it even last week, or even in the last episode, in the recap, we were still questioning some of these things, and we got some things right. But I want to point out here, one of our Twitter followers, which is at TDC_50266, I'm just going to call him Thomas because that's who he is. He sent us a tweet that said, "Nuff said podcast. I think you are," he said 8, but, spell check, "that you are way off on your thoughts on the traitor and the direction of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really?
I would like to say, Thomas, you are way off on your thoughts on who the traitor is. We were right. Victoria Hand, not the traitor. And boy, did they lead you down that path, man. They even made you think that it was going to be the clairvoyant. And I'm going, this doesn't add up in my head. She is a company man, just like May is. And guess what? She's a company man, just like May is."
Right. They did kind of lead that way in a couple episodes ago where she said, nobody is basically everybody is replaceable. And it was like the first time that she had figured out that Coulson was really not replaceable.
Right.
But the importance of the team. But I can see where they led us in that direction. She's taking
and when she's saying, kill everyone, I want Coulson. Now we know it's because she was so mad at Coulson. She thought he was Hydra.
Right.
She thought the whole group was Hydra.
Yeah. And really it was the, with all the Hydra agents coming and S.H.I.E.L.D. just completely caving in on itself, the encrypted communications from the plane is what led her to believe that either the team or somebody on the team was Hydra.
Well, yeah, I didn't even catch that at first, that the encrypted code came from the plane with the Hydra thing on it. Even when they were looking at it, I didn't catch that. And then I started thinking back, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't she just say that came from the plane? Yeah. That's why this is, but it didn't hit me as I was watching it. I think I was just like, my mind was racing. I was tweeting as fast as I could. The whole thing was a blur. This was a mind blower for me. One more thing, I want to give a quick follow up. Thomas did write back and said, "Hey, Nuff said podcast. We'll find out soon. Still love your podcast." So he was giving us a little guff there. You know what? We'll take it. I love the feedback, and I love that he doubts us because, frankly, I doubt us too. I think we're off the wall a lot, but man, we were right in some of this stuff.
Right. I mean, how many times do you have to call it like 5 or 6 episodes in advance before you say, you know what, maybe these guys are crazy, but a little right?
Okay, here's where I'm wrong. And I don't remember if you put yourself out there on this one, so I'm going to take the heat on this. But I was wrong about Garrett in a big, bad way.
That kind of kind of that thought occurred to me because a lot of this, like, oh, we got this
What,
four
that I was wrong, or
episode.
that
Well,
that he
my
was the
first thought,
guy?
no, that really he wasn't on my radar at all. And I really thought he was kind of that past Coulson kind of chain, and
Yeah, yeah.
really,
He wasn't on my radar either. And think about it, the beginning of this episode, he was awesome.
oh yeah, I mean,
You know, that
still
whole thing when
is.
he's sitting there and the planes come and attack him, and he's got all the funny lines, and I was just like, man, he's just awesome. I just love Bill Paxton on here. And now you know that those planes attacking his plane, that was a setup. You know that all the stuff he was doing on there was a setup. He's the freaking clairvoyant.
But
Now forget the clairvoyance element of it. That's the part that I'm still not happy about. That they act like that doesn't exist. But I do like that he's the clairvoyant because he's using Shield, his level at Shield, to manipulate the situation and figure out what's going on. Think about all those scenes, like with Mike Peterson. That's all coming from Garrett.
right. Well,
You
is
know?
it? I mean, they've done so many double blind switches.
True.
I mean, we've thought maybe for 2 or 3 episodes that, Vic Hand is, and I know that's condescending. She doesn't like that.
Right.
But, Victoria we really thought that she not only was maybe the clairvoyant, but at least if the old comics, we knew that she comes from a bad to good scenario.
Right.
So,
So there was that element that we kept saying that could be it. Now, I never believed that she was bad. I always thought she is just Shield through and through, and that's why she acts the way she does.
well, and
So,
that's
so I didn't buy that, but you make a great point about the comics, because as soon as you put that element in, it left that shadow of doubt. Like, maybe not she's not the clairvoyant, but man, when they were having it look like she was, high up and, all rah rah Hydra, man, I thought she was. I bought it.
well, and that's what we're supposed to do. And I don't know that she's such a great asset for Shield, because that is
So who
that kind
cares
of
now? She's dead, right?
well, is she?
Yeah, I don't think she is. They showed her hand there. It had the blood on it. He shot her point blank. But you know what? Coulson had the Loki pokey stick shoved through his heart.
Oh yeah.
Who's to say they're not going to take Victoria Hand and shove her down in Tahiti and bring her back? Or maybe he shot her, but he didn't shoot her in the head or anything.
Well, I don't think he really shot her at all. I think it's a setup. They're going to give him a little bit of play on the leash. That little last look.
Whoa, wait. You think it's a setup? You think that Ward
totally.
is a setup?
I think totally
Oh, I
Ward
don't.
is a setup. Oh, I do.
I do not. I think Ward is in Garrett's camp, and I think next week we are going to see he is clearly in Garrett's camp.
I don't buy it. I'm not going to buy it, and I will get some tweets on this, but
So you think he's double agenting?
I think he is. I think they finally, and the reason they're leading him
He
away.
shot 2 guys in cold blood in front of Hand, and then shot Hand.
Yeah, but stranger things have happened. I mean, we saw Loki die straight up. Loki's
but
not
he's a
dead.
trickster, and he has those abilities.
Well, and
Nobody has those abilities here.
And Shield has those abilities too. All you have to do is a little hokey pokey, and nothing that we.
I was doing the hokey pokey. Sorry.
Did you turn it all around?
I did. I turned it all around.
And that's really what it's all about. But
yuck.
and but look at that last. Why did Ward give Coulson that last little look at the very end? He's that little nod, like, all right, something's going on.
I didn't catch that. I thought maybe he was just looking back saying, I made out with Sky.
I really think that there's something in play.
That would make sense too then, because he did that thing with Sky to let her know I'm a good guy. Because why would he do that? It wouldn't be like, you know what, this is my one chance to kiss her, and then I'm going to be a bad guy.
Right.
No, that doesn't make any sense. So you might be right, but man, right now I am buying that he's a bad guy because of his affinity for Garrett. Although, you know what, Jack? You might be right, and I'll tell you why.
All hail Hydra.
The scene when he was talking to Coulson, and they saw Garrett get pulled out, he looked genuinely upset. Now that could have been acting, could have been fake, but he looked genuinely upset, and it could have been right there where the setup happened, where
Yeah.
Coulson, because Coulson was talking to him, and we didn't hear what he said. He could have been telling him, "This is how this is going down. You get on that plane, you shoot Victoria Hand." It doesn't mean that he shot her with real bullets. He could have shot her with the night gun.
That's the direction I'm going.
Oh man, I didn't see that at all, but I think you might be right.
I think that last little nod tells us something was going on a little funky, and I just don't think they're going to take that. And here's the other part of that we're supposed to believe that he was part of Shield all along. What kind of gives that away is in the sneak peek for next week, they're telling Ward, "Hey, welcome to Hydra."
Yeah, right. Like he's being brought in. So yeah, man. He could be a double agent.
I think so.
Have it.
Now, if they had said, okay, Operation Coulson, and kill the bus is over, what's my next assignment? Okay, I buy it. But at this point, the welcome to Hydra in this, no, I don't buy it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think this is how you take Ward out of the team. I think the team is the team. I think, I'll take it back to Firefly. That team never broke up. He didn't kill off any part of that core.
Right, right.
He's building this team from the core, even though they keep shooting at each other more than they've shot anybody else. It just doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't add up. If they don't start shooting somebody else, I'm going to start really crying foul.
They shot other people this time.
Well, they did, but if we
they were Hydra agents posing as Shield agents, so it's still kind of like they were shooting themselves.
Yeah, but they were actually Shield agents, which were Hydra agents who, really believe that they're doing the Lord's work. So
right. So here's why this worked. One of the reasons it worked so well for me. We had so much action, so much going on. We had all this conspiracy stuff and all the stuff that you wanted, tech and action and just everything. And you know what? I didn't miss the superheroes. And you know what else? I'm aware the superheroes are out there, especially because of Captain America and because they made reference to him. And it's like, wow, that showed that this story of S.H.I.E.L.D. can stand on its own without Avengers popping up here and there.
Well, and I think
Black Widow could show up anytime. That would be okay with me.
I think that's a valid point. I think the show has to stand on its own. But you know what? It's Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with occasional Marvel.
No, it's Marvel's Agents of Hydra. All hail Hydra.
All hail Hydra.
Welcome to the Hydra podcast.
I'm dehydrated, Jack Wengroski.
Dehydrated. You know what? I think that when we do our final episode of the season and we do our recap, we should do another roundtable, but we'll host one. And we're going to call it, everyone else is like, Podcasters Assemble and things like that. Ours is going to just be called Dehydrated. I think that's an awesome name.
We'll have it.
You know what? How soon can we get some T-shirts or cell phone covers that have our logo and say Dehydrated?
That would be awesome.
We got to have them.
Half the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo and half the Hydra logo.
Yeah. It's so funny.
We all work for the same. We all work for the same company. It's okay.
That's right. We're dehydrated now.
That's right.
That's so good. So Jack, I got another thing to ask you.
Yes.
We heard Hydra's theme song. How do we get world-class trumpet player Jack Wengroski to record the Hydra theme for us so we can play it at the end of our shows?
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. I really have to figure out. It's not my lack of playing; it's my recording ability that is just. I have absolutely no talent as far as recording goes.
Then here's what I want you to do. You figure out the tune, Don't nothing more. You're just going to play it on your trumpet. We don't need anything more. Play that theme on your trumpet. Give me a sweet version of it. I'll record it over Skype. I'll take care of it. But we need to have the Hydra theme played by you.
Oh, it's Hydra. Yes, it is.
No, they did it in the show.
Oh.
Just watch the show again. That scene when he says Hydra has a theme or something, and then it played this dun 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 theme, and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, Jack needs to play that on the trumpet."
You sure it's oh Hydra, nothing but Hydra?
You know what? We'll get sued if you play that one.
Well, no, you could do. You can always do a certain number of seconds. That's always legal. There is a clip limit. But getting back to the show,
right.
Really disappointed. I was kind of like Agent Garrett. I really kind of wanted to be like the Han Solo. I was really looking. Everybody's looking to Skywalker, but the real hero sometimes was Han Solo, and I really enjoyed the Agent Garrett coming in.
I loved Agent Garrett, and I actually think we're going to have fun with him being a bad guy.
Probably so. He is very entertaining. I love the acting. I would have loved it more had he kind of been Coulson's old college buddy.
Well, you know what? They alluded to that, and they had him telling these stories and doing his thing, and he has a history with Coulson. I think we're going to see that play out more, or at least I hope we do. I hope we see things like flashbacks when they encounter each other, that there's more to it. He becomes partially cyborg in the comics, just like Deathlock. So maybe something happens and we're going to get kind of that cyborg Garrett going forward. And, is he going to stay bad, or will he be reprogrammed? Or in this case, deprogrammed? I don't know.
Right.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. We'll rehydrate him as, the Deathlock alternative. Well,
you're dehydrated, Jack Wingrowski, and I'm rehydrated, Rob Southgate.
Awesome. There we go. That's it. Well, I could see Coulson taking him out, and they have to kind of put him back together using some of the Deathlock technology, whatever they've done.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I could see it going that way. But I was watching the show, and just my first reaction was Garrett and the clairvoyant. Boo! I just don't believe that this is the master tactician. Garrett is...
No. I don't know if he is either. But he is the clairvoyant, and by being the clairvoyant, it's that he is the one in there doing... He's taking the persona of the clairvoyant. He's making that up to do what he has to do within S.H.I.E.L.D. and to cause the havoc he is. But the clairvoyant, he even said, is he answers to higher powers.
Right.
So don't for a second think he's the tactician, he's the one pulling the strings. No, he's the one who's got the inside track and created a character to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. and to cause havoc. But he is not what we're leading to.
Well, just to clarify, he was already in S.H.I.E.L.D. and the flag just blew a different direction.
Right.
If you get, from the word of mouth was, hey, I just saw the wind blowing in a different direction and I went with it. So he's not a dyed-in-the-wool, lifelong Hydra fan. He did jump ship. I don't know why or what the motivation was, but maybe he saw the writing on the wall and thought, Hydra has the leverage. I'm going this way. That does fit his character, but right. I really think you need the head of Hydra to really drive the brain. I don't see his character as having that kind of brain power to do the things that the clairvoyant was doing. I mean, this guy...
I'm saying, I don't think that he was. I think it was done in the name of the clairvoyant. I don't know if there is a clairvoyant. I think that he is whatever that character is, but it's not a clairvoyant who's driving the bus, so to speak.
Right. And
it's not like when you say it's MODOK, and MODOK is the one driving the bus. MODOK is a bad guy. He's in charge. He's the thing. And there's nobody posing as MODOK. In this case, you know what? It kind of has that feel of the Mandarin, where it's it's a character that's being put up there, making you believe that they're the big baddie, but really they're just a cog in the wheel. And there's other big baddies, and in this case, it's Hydra. So Hydra, I mean, there could be 20 big baddies that are working together to cause the havoc. They're just letting him take the fall under the name of the Clairvoyant.
And I think if you go to the very end of the episode where Garrett is telling basically the exact same story he was in the car with Coulson talking about falling through the skylight, which we know he didn't fall through the skylight because Coulson was there. And I think he is really, even as I think, like you say, the Mandarin, I think he's going to wind up a very minor character, something that they were using more
I
than
think
leading.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm agreeing with you. I think that's a good analogy. I think he is the same kind of wild and crazy guy, and he enjoys the action and the limelight, and he just, okay, you know what? I'm going to switch sides because that. But I don't think he's driving. He's not driving any bus.
Right. Yeah, he's not the main player. That's for sure.
Right. So, does that mean the real Clairvoyant is still out there? Does that mean, okay, we're moving past the Clairvoyant? That was a little gag, and now we're done with that. And now, the Hydra is still in factions all over the globe. S.H.I.E.L.D. still has to recover. But here's the thing. S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't over. As much as there's factions of Hydra taking control, there are factions of S.H.I.E.L.D. that just can't let that happen.
Right.
So, all is not lost.
I got a question. So Hand says to Coulson, we're the two top-ranking officers in S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, it appears.
Correct.
Okay, so Hand is, in theory, shot. Okay.
Right.
That's fine. That makes Coulson top-ranking, theoretically, but what about Maria Hill? Isn't she above Coulson, or was Coulson above her? I can't... part of me, right away, I thought that, and then I went, oh, no, wait, I think he was above her in the Avengers, but I'm not so sure. I think Maria Hill is just as high, so wouldn't she also be a top-ranking S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? Or do they not know where her allegiance is?
Well, I don't know. I think you can't really go with the allegiance. You can't get to the end of the movie and still think, oh, well, she's one of Hydra. There's just
no, I don't think that at all. I'm saying for them, for Coulson and Hand at that point, did they not know who was... They know Fury's dead. Are they assuming everyone outside of this realm is Hydra?
Well,
and the other thing is, I don't think Blake is Hydra either. I think Blake is Blake. So when she was saying, Blake was the one leading them towards Coulson being the Clairvoyant and everything, that was all a ruse. And Blake was never brought up again as being a bad guy. I really doubt he is Hydra.
No,
he's not as high ranking as Coulson, but so I wouldn't assume him to be that high. But I think Agent Blake is going to turn up again and be totally on the S.H.I.E.L.D. side of things. What do you think about that?
I think you've got basically a whole universe of agents like that are going to be popping in and reasserting themselves, making their allegiance. I mean, you could have 3 or 4 or 5 episodes because, as we know, we got to get past the team being its own worst enemy, the entire force. So, really, the next probably 3, 4, maybe 3, 4 episodes reestablishing S.H.I.E.L.D. as an entity and allegiances. These things are going to be popping all over the place. Any agent we have or hadn't heard of. But I think to answer your question, we have to look at what they're saying. I mean, it's a television show. And
it is. I was starting to feel this was real life. I was getting a little confused.
Well, if Agent Hand and Coulson are convinced they're the 2 highest ranking, I think that's a safe assumption that, okay, Anita Hill probably maybe is level 7, or I mean, who knows? I mean, they're really going to have to build this whole thing up from scratch. So, really, does that mean that, Coulson would be now considered the entire director of S.H.I.E.L.D., or is,
Well, yeah, especially if indeed she's dead, does that make him number one and only?
yeah,
And who's he overseeing? There's no way. He's overseeing his team, and his team is going to be doing everything it can to bring itself up out of this and to bring Shield out of this. They're going to be rooting out the bad guys. Uh, I can't imagine they're going to make him be sitting director because sitting director is not going to be in the field the same way.
no. And well, it's much like, like the old Star Trek movies. Admiral Kirk really couldn't, be out in the field. So, conveniently, again, he gets downgraded back to Captain Kirk, and I think, somehow they're going to kind of gloss over that little storyline, and somebody else is probably going to have to take the helm. I think. I think
you're thinking of the team or of Shield?
Well, I think no. Well, I mean, Coulson, literally, from the information we're being given, Coulson is now the new Nick Fury, at least acting.
Right.
So you've got.
So that's what I'm asking. You think that's the case?
I think that's the case. Now, how do you get around that and not put him at the top?
How fast? Well, actually, I was just going to ask a question that I think we have an answer to. I was going to say, how fast do we know? Will we know about Nick Fury? But it was announced this week that Samuel L. Jackson is going to be in the final episode of this season. So that's when they know Nick Fury is alive. At that point, he is no longer, if Coulson is acting director for a short bit, he no longer has to be acting director, and he can get back to the business of driving the bus, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. So they could have Coulson running the entire operation until the end of the season, which, really we've only got what, 6, how many more episodes?
Oh yeah. Not a lot.
Not a lot. So, I mean, we really don't have long to wait. So they could have him, kind of putting everything back together. Of course, I do the Baker Street podcast, and this is classic Sherlock Holmes. This is Victorian literature right here. When at the Reichenbach Falls, Sherlock grabs his arch enemy Moriarty, and he pulls him over Reichenbach Falls, and to basically ensure that the master criminal, the worst scourge that London has ever seen, makes it to his death and cancels each other out. Of course, Sherlock holds on. He lives. In truth, it was public public outcry. Yeah, 150-year-old spoiler alert.
150 year. That might be the best spoiler alert we've ever done.
Ever.
So, how do you beat that?
So,
Jesus Rose. There's an older one.
Oh man, now I don't have to read the Bible. Thanks a lot.
Spoiler.
I was gonna go see the movie. Gosh. So
with Russell Crowe. Only it's not Noah. It's a sequel.
So
Noah 2 Electric Boogaloo.
How did we get to Electric Boogaloo?
I don't know.
I think you're gonna have to have some therapy to root that one out.
Yeah.
But so everybody thinks that Sherlock is dead. So he uses that time period. All his friends are convinced, so he uses that time period to root out the rest of Moriarty's criminal elements throughout, throughout the known world at that time.
Right.
And that's what I think Nick Fury is going to be doing. They think
he's going to play dead in order to do what he needs to do.
Right. Yeah. How did you like the fact that he went ahead and burnt his eye patch?
That was awesome.
Like, okay,
yeah, you know what? You're right, though, because he just put on the sunglasses, he burnt the eye patch. He's going rogue. He's going undercover.
Yeah, and so he's basically going to be doing the Sherlock Holmes thing. He's going to get down and dirty into the Hydra underworld, and do what he needs to do, and fight the good fight. Right. And So that gives him a few episodes, and that will bring us kind of back. That'll probably be where they take out Agent Garrett. I bet
Yeah,
that
probably.
Okay,
Well,
we've
you know
got
what? He's only supposed to be on 4 episodes this season, and we've seen him on 3. But
so
once
that
again, I really hold out hope that they bring Bill Paxton back next year. Let's not be done with this character.
yeah. I have to tell you, I am so disappointed they went this direction because you
Because
know
you liked him?
I really did like him. He was a lot of fun. He was like, to me, what a Shield agent really should be.
Yeah,
And
I get you.
at this point, that just sounds traitorous.
Yeah, I totally get you, man.
Did I just make up a word?
I think you did. You know what? I think that has happened a couple of times tonight. When we did our earlier one, we made up how many different words during Captain America. So yeah, I think that's kind of the theme we've got going on here.
We are the make up the words podcast.
Welcome to the Make Up the Words podcast. All hail Hydra. I'm your host.
Rehydrated, Rob Southgate,
rehydrated with dehydrated.
Jack Wendrowski. How many podcasts can we make out of this one show?
I don't know, but you know what? They're all unlistenable. So there you go.
Well, that's what, if we edit and there's only 5 minutes left, then you'll know what happened.
If this show's only 5 minutes, you know what? I should actually totally post a 5-minute version of it. That'd be the funniest thing ever.
Hi, I'm your host, Rob Southgate, and this was brought to you by the Southgate Media Group. Check out our webpage.
Check out our webpage. So did we talk this thing out? I mean, let's see. We hit all the points. We know Garrett's dirty. We know Hand isn't. We know that you've got a great theory on Ward, and I know you're right deep down in my gut. You know what? I was very upset during the whole. I actually really bought into it in the beginning that Triplet was going to be Hydra, but then he turned out not to be, which was great. I'm really glad he wasn't.
And he was heartbroken at the end.
But then he pulled a knife on Simmons for a second, and I tweeted immediately, "Not the face, please don't put Simmons in jeopardy. No, that's not a fun show."
Do you have a thing for Simmons?
I do like Simmons.
She's kind of cute.
You know what? Simmons is good, good stuff. I like her.
At least she doesn't hide under the dang table. Although, that reminds me.
Yes.
How about Fitz shooting the guy that was about to kill May? May has tried to kill him like 2 or 3 or 4 times now. I mean, really, like full out bullets, like real bullets.
Right?
He saved her butt. He saved her life full on.
Yes.
That ungrateful little wench owes him big.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, she will kick my butt. However,
I love May. And I was really glad that we were right about her, too, that she was not Hydra, that she was loyal to Fury. I'm really glad about that.
She was, but I still think that jeopardized the way she did it. And of course,
agree. I agree it's going to be bad for the character, but I would have been disappointed if she flipped and all of a sudden, this has been a traitor in our midst the whole time, and we lose this character that I really think is cool.
Well, I don't think her history would really belie anything like that, but I think it was, the thing that's really getting Coulson is that her actions jeopardized the team, even though they were for Fury. That this team really acts kind of under the radar, and there she is, kind of taking them back into the radar. The transmission jeopardized the team. Almost she has attacked Ward. She has
she's attacked everybody.
The only one that she really hasn't tried to kill or hit is Coulson. And I don't know why she hadn't done that, other than the fact she truly does care for Coulson.
She said that too. And to me, that was really heartfelt, not only from the character, but I thought that her performance there was so believable. When she's like, this was all done because I truly care what happens to you.
Right. But you know what? She did it. The way she did it was wrong. Her actions were wrong. In the back of her mind and the way she said it, she truly believes this is her operation.
Yes.
And she was
Once
even,
again, pun fully intended, but she's driving the bus.
yeah,
That's what she believes.
yeah. And you know what? Without Coulson, she's back in Afghanistan being somebody's water boy. And that's, as glorified. May is a
Hey,
field
hey, Jack.
operative.
She's not a boy. FYI.
Well, it's metaphorical. I've seen the outfits. I am duly impressed.
You're too much.
But I really, it's a disappointment in, like it's a disappointment. Like if the 007 movies. I mean, you just didn't see, Dame Judi Dench all of a sudden take a swing at Bond and stab him in the back as he's going to mission and go, oh, surprise, I'm part of the enemy. Or,
Right.
Q gives him an exploding pen and it floats right up his anus.
Wow. What James Bond movies are you watching?
Well, that's my point exactly. That
Well, we
stuff,
just went up from PG to PG-14, Jack. Thanks a lot.
but that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. You wouldn't imagine these people MI6 like turning on each other and this kind
Right.
of but there it is. And it's every episode. Right. Quit shooting each other. Shoot some of the bad guys.
Right. Well, they were the bad guys this time.
Yeah.
This time it made sense.
Well, at least.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
On the last episode, not this one, but the last one, when they found the quote unquote clairvoyant, the actor that was playing the clairvoyant there was like a real actor, was somebody who like is in a lot. It was Brad Dourif. I mean, he was on X-Files. He's just been on all sorts of stuff. He's a name. Like when you say Brad Dourif, a lot of people know who that is. Is he dead? Did they really just have that actor just sit there, not say a word, shoot the guy, and it's over? Didn't Ward shoot him?
He did, and I really think
so. Was that a setup?
No, well, I don't think so because, if and truly, maybe it was a double blind that
I know, that's what I'm wondering.
Is he really, in fact, the clairvoyant? Then they made it seem like he wasn't the clairvoyant. You shot the wrong guy.
Down into this world of double blinds and triple blinds and quadruple. It's like watching The Americans, where you never know who's a spy, who isn't, who's working for who.
Well, see, and that's kind of the dark trail that they've gone into. From now on, I can never believe who is who and who is what they say they are if they're actually dead. I am never ever going to believe that anybody that is shot in this show is, number one, actually truly shot, or is truly dead, or is who they say they are. Because, it's like everybody has really kind of either jeopardized the team, tried to kill their own team member, become somebody else. But back to, from my rant back to Brad, I think it's one of those things. He was also in Star Trek. I think it was one of those things where...
Wait, Brad Dourif was?
Yeah.
Really? What was he in Star Trek?
Let me see. I'm looking at the image. He's in, let's see. It's in Wiki. I see the picture. He's in the yellow. Is that an engineering top? Yellow and black?
He was in the movie.
Yeah. So I really think, wasn't he the one that like kind of turned on what's his name? The More You Know guy.
The More You Go. Wait a minute. So he was on Next Generation.
Let me see. Child's Play, Randon.
Wait, More You Know guy. Are you talking about Reading Rainbow?
Yeah.
That's not the More You Know guy. That's the Reading Rainbow guy.
But here's the funny thing. You knew exactly what I was talking about and said the right thing.
It's so friggin' scary.
That is rather scary. It even scares me, and I know it's happening.
I don't know. Jack, I've been friends with you for way too long.
We get from A to B. It doesn't matter how you get there. So anyway, I think it's really like that he wanted to be in the movie. He was in Friend of Somebody or the TV show. Yeah, he was. I think they put him in as a favor, and maybe we'll see him again. Maybe as another character. Maybe we won't.
Okay.
But like we said, you just can't trust the show. There's no, within the characters itself. I mean, we haven't really seen the last we've seen is Deathlock. As far as Marvel characters, I think there's going to be a lot of infighting for quite a bit. I think I just have to shut up and get used to it.
Right, I think so. Because you know what? Just every time they shoot at each other, just go, okay, that one's Hydra.
Yeah.
Well, it'll make it a little easier on you.
May goes Hydra again.
Yep, that one's Hydra.
There goes May. She's going through a Hydra fit again. Hydra flashback.
Hydra flashback. All right, Jack. I think I'm done. Can we wrap this thing up?
I think it's dried out.
I think it is too. Well, I can't wait for next week. I'm just so ready to see what happens. And I can't believe the end of the season is quickly approaching. This has just been great. And Captain America was great. If you haven't seen it, get out there and see it. Let's end this thing. Thank you for listening to the Nuff Said podcast. You can find our past shows and all our other podcasts. I think we're at 28 or 29 podcasts now. At our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. I'm at rsouthgate. Our Twitter for the show is the Nuff Said podcast. I'm sorry, it's at Nuff Said podcast. You can find us on Instagram. Jack, your Twitter is
at jwengroski, WENGROSKY.
Yeah, man, we have, you can tell I'm getting tired. We're really rambling here. Please send us email also. You know what? Send it to the general email, which is southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. And that will get right to Jack and I. Get in a conversation with us. Follow us on Facebook. We're not getting a lot of response. We're getting more Twitter response than anything else. But really, we love to engage with the audience and hear what you think about all this. We're throwing theories out. Throw some our way and tell us how wrong we are. We love that. I'm going to say that's it. For the Nuff Said podcast, I forgot who I am. No.
Rehydrated, right? Or
I am rehydrated. I was going to say reiterating or regurgitated, but I'll go with rehydrating. Rob Southgate, and with me is...
Well, I was Judas, but now I am dehydrated, Jack Wengroski.
That's so awesome. Thank you again for listening, everybody. We really love you, and, we just can't wait to talk about the next one. Until then, Nuff Said.
Hail Hydra. Nuff said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.